we have two quadratic functions, f of x and g of x, and we're asked several things. The first is find the coefficients of the quadratic term of h of x, where h of x is the sum of f and g. So in other words, you're expected to add these together and say what is the coefficient of the quadratic term. Now let's just be real clear what the quadratic term is. The quadratic term of f of x is this. The coefficient of the quadratic term is -2. This guy right here. The quadratic term of g of x is 5x squared. The coefficient of the quadratic term is 5. Okay? So now if I were to take the sum of these like it wants and just add them up, I'm going to get the following. h of x equals 3x squared plus 5x plus 1. What's the coefficient of the quadratic term? Well, it's this 3 right there. Now, you'll notice I did some extra work that I didn't need to. I didn't need to figure out 5x and 1. I didn't need to add any of the terms other than the quadratic one. So I'm going to recommend that when it asks you for the quadratic anything, you just focus on that particular term. You don't worry about the linears or the constant values. And that's going to come in real handy in this next one, because here it says that p of x equals the product of f of x and g of x. Okay, we're going to multiply these things together, which means if we do some substitution, it gives us this, -2x squared plus x plus 3 times 5x squared plus 4x minus 2. Now, if you just love polynomials, you can multiply this all out. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is a lot of extra work. For example, I don't need to know what 2x squared times 5x squared is. I just don't need to know it because it's going to be x to the 4th. And all I'm looking for is the quadratic coefficient, the x squareds. So how can you multiply things together here to only get x squareds? Well, let me list the combos. One way you can do it is by multiplying -2x squared times -2. That gives you positive 4x squared. Another way you can do it is by multiplying x times 4x. Okay, that gives you plus, well, it's another 4x squared. And the last way you can get quadratic terms is by multiplying 3 times 5x squared. And that gets you 15x squared. So when you add these together, you get, let's see, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 15, 23. So that's going to be 23x squared. Now, obviously there's more. There's all sorts of x's and x cubed and x to the 4ths and so on. But I don't care about any of them.